Good morning, good morning. Welcome to Junkanoo 242. You are in the E-Shack this morning, and it's another Saturday morning. Good morning, Arlene. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. How's it going?
I am dry. I just want to tell you that my costume did not get wet. Hey, the shack leak. I want to tell you the shack leak, but not on my side.
Well, listen here, Bella. It wouldn't be a real shack if it wasn't leaking somewhere.
Oh man, all of this rain is getting us closer and closer, ushering in the parade,
Yes,
Arlene. We are
yes,
almost into hurricane season, and
that's right.
once June the 1, ST come, we done halfway there.
That's right, absolutely. And once May comes, this is the beginning of the rainy season. And so, we just urge everybody to stay safe and stay dry. And those people who have to traverse those roads that have gone completely underwater,
Uh-huh.
let's try to be as careful as we can.
Oh my, oh my. Good morning to all of our Facebook viewers, all of our family of islands, everybody who is tuned into the show. We have another one lined up for you guys. This one is going to get you smiling. This one is going to give you some updates. But before we go any further, Arlene, would you get us started with our prayer, please?
Of course. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, for the gift of life, we give you thanks. For our nation, we pray for peace, progress, prosperity, and principle, recovery, and restoration. And for ourselves, we pray for wisdom to use all of your gifts wisely, especially the gift of Junkanoo, so that we may honor you, serve your people, build better communities, a better Bahamas, and a better world. Amen.
Amen. Proud to be Bahamian.
Well, let me jump right in here this morning before I forget again. I want to say a special good morning to two ladies that I met about a week ago, Brenda Culmer and Ella Stirrup. I met them in the bakery, and they listen to us every week. They recognize my voice the minute I placed my order. And so, ladies, we want to say a special good morning to you and thank you for listening. It was a pleasure meeting you. They do outstanding work, and it was really an honor to meet them.
Well, my proud to be Bahamian moment is in the vein of graduation. The season is getting
Oh,
ready and
yes.
started, Arlene.
Oh,
And
yeah.
today, it is but being the proud uncle. My nephew will be graduating from the University of Illinois today at 1:30 p.m. And
Fabulous.
he is going to be also on top of that, he's going to be getting a master's degree in computer science.
All right.
And to top it off, Arlene, he's going to be giving the commencement speech.
No, no,
Yes,
no,
yes,
no,
man. So,
no, no,
yeah,
no.
man. Yeah,
You see, that's the worst of y'all Bahamians.
we,
You can't send y'all
we do
off
it
no
big.
take over the people's place, man.
We do it big, man. So they're up there, we rallied the troops. The troops are up there in Illinois. I cannot tell the crowd what is gonna happen when the guy takes the podium. I just will
Yes.
tell them that their life will not be the same because the Bahamian entourage is up
It's
there,
there.
okay?
It ready to roll.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So
Boy, listen here. That is a proud moment. Congratulations to him. Congratulations to you and your family. And, when you look particularly on Facebook, you see how many people have graduated and how the parents are so proud. It really is a milestone. It's an achievement. And Bahamians are doing great things all over the place.
that is it.
One family's first chairman, Hubert Chipman, his second daughter, Elena, well, we want to congratulate him because his first daughter, Candice, and her husband, Omar, they recently had a baby boy. And as if that was not enough, the second daughter just graduated with a doctorate in education.
Oh, gee.
And so they are among many families celebrating, and we thank God for all of them because the times are very difficult, and we want to celebrate
Yes.
everybody who
Yes.
has reached a milestone, particularly in these circumstances. And Bahamians are really all over the place, and they are qualifying themselves in so many areas. And we say, well done, and we say, continue the good work. And our plea is, our prayer is, that at some point you will come back to the Bahamas to contribute to the development of our own country. But
Yes.
in the meantime, we are very proud of everybody. It is graduation season, yes.
Yes, and I not leaving the Hubert Chipman, that one who has a doctorate in education. I hope
Mhm.
she ties him up and pins him down and get him writing that book that we have been
Yes.
urging him to do.
Yes, 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 absolutely. And that's really a clarion call for everybody because nobody can tell your story like you. And so everybody needs to keep a journal and start jotting down notes and just make sure for the next generation, not only for your children, but for your
Yes.
grandchildren and their children. It is important from them to hear from you what life was like in your era and the contribution that you made to the Bahamas. And so yes, we encourage everyone. And in this day and time, brother, you could turn on your phone and record. You don't even have to write it down. And
Yes.
so we encourage everybody to, make sure keep those records so important.
Yes. Folks, yes, on that note, we all proud up in this shack this morning.
Yeah.
We can see what all get wet up on the next side of the shack. But before we do that, we're gonna run to our break. And when we get back, we're
Mm-hmm.
gonna dive right into the show. You're listening to
Oh
Jump to
yeah.
242. We'll be right back.
Part one. Where's that Bastian fella?
Here on this radio station is governed by IRCA's Code of Practice for Content Regulation. The Code of Practice covers matters relating to program content that are of concern to the community, such as local content, news, current affairs, and programs for children, advertising, including political advertisements, and the responsibilities associated with broadcasting in the Bahamas. The code also covers aspects such as access services for the hearing and visually impaired, and the procedure for lodging a complaint about anything broadcast by this station. The code is available on the IRCA website at www.ircabahamas.vs. To receive a copy of the code by mail or in person, you may telephone IRCA at 242-393-0234. Family Island dialing is toll-free at 1-242-300-8722. Or you may send a request by email to info@ircabahamas.bs.
Hey, you see what going down, babe? Them jokers running free. You need to go report what you see.
Me? For them to clip me next?
I ain't saying going to police directly.
Wait, what you talking about then?
Call Crime Stoppers Bahamas. You can tell them directly what's going down.
Wait, Crime Stoppers is the police, you know?
No, my boy, when you call Crime Stoppers, they just answer your call in Miami or Toronto, Canada. So no one can know it's you. And you don't have to give them no personal information because they just give you a pin.
Wait, what you talking about though?
They got their own system down there to get the information where it need to go. I just saying, if you ain't got nothing to lose, you might as well get these jokers off the street.
True, and so Crime Stoppers is the one that's give you plenty money for that hot news, eh?
Yeah, and if you help the police with the arrest, from pin, you get some marlins. So I just saying, win-win, my boy.
So what the number is though? Free up the number.
Do the right thing. Stop the crime before it's your time.
Bing.
Call Crime Stoppers Bahamas today at 328-8477 or from the Family Island, 242-300-8477. It's safe, and the life you save may be your own.
This public service announcement was brought to you by Crime Stoppers in conjunction with the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
From the Junkanoo archives on the Junkanoo timeline, the year was 1983, and the Bahamas celebrated 10 years as an independent nation with a Junkanoo parade on Clifford Park. When the parade was over, it was the Saxons in a three-way tie for best costume. The Yellow
Wow.
Elder, Kenny Mary, the
All
Blue
right.
Marlin, Barabbas, and the Flamingo,
All
Gay,
right.
sweeping the best costume category. The unprecedented achievement secured the place of the 1983 Saxons a place in Junkanoo history. Another exciting moment on the Junkanoo timeline.
Oh my goodness, now that was some excitement, not the three-way tie. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. The whistle blow. We are lined up and we're ready for this segment of our show. This is the rollover. And this morning, we are catching up with the JCNP. We need an update. You know, we promised that periodically as the year moves on, we would find out what is happening in terms of the JCNP and their planning. And we are delighted to have as our very special guest the chairman of the JCNP. I don't know if he's brought any other executive members with him, but we are thrilled to have Dion Miller for sure in the E-Shack with us. Chairman, good morning.
Good morning, Bahamas. Good morning, Arlene. Good morning, DF. How are you guys doing?
Well, thank you. How are you?
Staying dry.
Boy, I hope you didn't set up the recognizance team, because I don't want nobody talk, but they shack get wet, they costume get wet, and we still in preparation, buddy.
Boy, darn. I just got a message today underwater. You can't get in the shock.
Ooh, it rough. Boy, that was some water, hey? Oh my goodness. Ooh, I know the plants are smiling, but look here. The shocks, we will find out for sure. We know where all the leaks are now. For sure, we know that. And so, Chairman, good morning. It's a pleasure to have you this morning. This is one of our regular pit stops because we need to know what is happening as we continue to battle through all of these challenges. You know, we just as an aside, we have seen from recent news that COVID has reared its ugly head again, and there's another wave apparently, and there are people who are just contracting COVID now for the first time, and we want to assure all of them of our prayers, and we want to wish them well in terms of a speedy recovery. And so the plague is still there, but before we get into that and the ramifications for Junkanoo, for anybody who may not be aware, we don't know who that might be, but just in case there's somebody who is not aware, just tell us in a nutshell what the JCNP is. Who is the JCNP? Let us know who you is.
So good morning. Thank you again. So the JCNP, or the Junkanoo Corporation of Providence, is the body that has responsibility for managing the national parades. That is the Boxing Day and the New Year's Day Junkanoo parades. The JCNP is a fully independent body, meaning that we type of assistance from the government of the Bahamas. A body formed by Junkanoos, so that representatives of all the major groups on the island, and we come together to manage our parade in the said direction for Junkanoo, with that responsibility. So, as you all know, who don't know, my name is Dion Miller. I've been the chairman since about 2000. I can't even remember. But this
Man,
is the
Dion, you just start, man.
I can't remember.
You can't remember.
I honestly can't remember. But I would say this would be my second consecutive 3-year term. The JCNP just recently had elections in early April, and we have a brand new, exciting, energetic executive body that's been put in place with a sole focus on advancing Junkanoo and relaunching and returning Junkanoo back to its form and returning to Bay Street. So that is the JCNP in a nutshell.
Beautiful, beautiful, very well said and very, very concise. Tell us the names of your executive members so that the country can be fully apprised.
Most definitely. So the team that I stand with, that power, this trust for us to manage these parades. Of course, myself, the deputy chairman of the JCNP, Mr. Trevor Pratt, who was also the chairman of the Foxhole Congos, a B category group. So Trevor would have been the first category B participant or member to serve in a substantive role in the JCNP since our existence. That's something that we're very proud of, given the B category, or how we like to call them, our little brothers and sisters, a seat at the big table, and to make an effect change. Also on that executive committee would be the secretary, which is Natasha Dillett. She is assisted by the deputy secretary, Mr. Ivan Thompson. We have our PR.
So Natasha is from the Music Makers, and Ivan is from Roots.
Roots, correct. Correct. Included in the Tier 1 executive committee would be Mr. Andrew Edwards, who is a member of Roots, and he serves as our treasurer. And the deputy treasurer, another member of Roots, Mr. Dwayne Bear Ellis, who serves as our assistant treasurer. So Roots what leg of the executive team is none other than Mr. DF, Darren Farrington, your co-host, and he has responsibility for PR and marketing of the JCNP. And to make up the round of the executives, we have Mr. Rory Sanders, who is the chairman of the Rules Committee, Mr. Nathan Taylor, who is the chairman of the Parades Committee, Mr. Basil Carter, who is the chairman of Business, Mrs. Orita Stubbs, who is the chairperson for Outreach, and Mr. Tony Scrivens, who is the chairperson of Legal and the Election Committees. I think I am not leaving out anyone. Am I correct, Darren?
Yeah, that's it. Everybody's well accounted for.
It's everyone there. And so we have a good team, a good mix that spanned across the entire Junkanoo community, involving Category A and Category B groups. And so it is a young team and an exciting team, a team with a lot of experience, Junkanoo experience, business experience, administrative experience. That are ready and willing and are ready to rock and roll and serve the community.
From the public eyesight, they see the parades and they see everything that happens to get, or I would say the end product of it. So a lot of people, the question will be asked is, why is it important, to have this JCNP body? You all only get out there to put on a parade. Why is it important to have this JCNP body?
That's a good question, Darren. That's something a lot of people don't understand. A lot of people believe that those parades just magically appear on December 25th and January 1st. No, sir. The JCNP year starts as early as April. And even before that, we're in sessions, we're in meetings, doing postmortems and getting ready for the year. So it takes a lot of time, dedication, and effort that goes into the planning of those parades. The JCNP, or Junkanoos, as I like to say, we are responsible for every aspect of that parades. So we have to plan what type of parades that we are going to see, the rules that govern those parades, anything in that parade, whatever entertainment, the flow, the format, all of that falls on responsibilities of the Junkanoos, as well as raising some finances and stuff so this parade can happen. And so there's great responsibility. I mean, the JCNP, you could attest to this, Darren, and Ali, and I know through your significant other, you have a great appreciation for this. But so far for the year, we've probably already had about 40 meetings, about 40 sessions, and we're only at the halfway point. And so it's a great sacrifice. We don't make a bunch of money. Basically, we don't make no money from this. This is all love for Junkanoo and volunteerism. But the government many years ago gave us this task and this responsibility to manage our own. And so Junkanoos, we take it very serious. We like to fashion ourselves that we follow democracy and protocols and procedures, just as those other fellas and ladies does there in our parliament. And so this is our Junkanoo Parliament, something we are proud of and something that we take very, very seriously. We're organized. We have structure, and the JCNP does what we do. But there's a lot of work that goes into the plan and execution of this parade. It's not just about Junkanoo. It's about the advancement of Junkanoo. It's about the business aspect of Junkanoo, financing, all sorts of different legs and whatnot that we focus on. And so it's just a lot of work, but it's something that we have the passion and love and drive. And like I tell people, we're an open tent. The JCNP has open doors. If you want to be a part of this discussion or be a part of change and bring forward recommendations, come forward and join those meetings. The parades and rules for meetings, they are back and track. They occur every single Monday. You don't have to be a quote unquote group rep. You can come in, join, and sign up with those committees and let your voice be heard.
Dion,
that is a powerful, that structure right there is powerful, because there is no Junkanoo that can say that they don't have an opportunity to contribute, even if their group official representatives are not reporting. They still have an opportunity to be there on the ground, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like I said, we're an open house. You don't have to be a group rep. You can come in and sign up and join any of our committees, from outreach to the PR committee, to the business committee, parade, rules. You can come and let your voice be heard. We have a dedicated minute recorder, and so your minutes and your opinions will be logged. And if successful, they will come to the floor where we as Junkanoos will decide if we're going to incorporate your suggestions or what's not. But we want Junkanoos to get out of the habit of just sitting under the tree or in the shack with all of their ideas and their suggestions.
Yes.
Come to the entity or to the place where those suggestions, those ideas will be heard and could possibly be enacted.
So before we leave this point, okay, let's say for the sake of argument, I love Junkanoo and I have some great ideas for community outreach. Where can I find out when the meetings are? Is there a schedule that's on your website? How people who want to attend a meeting, say they have a thing about rules and they want to come and join that discussion. Tell me how I find out when those meetings are. Is there a schedule of meetings posted anywhere?
So you can go on the JCNP social platform. All of that relevant information will be on that platform. You could also email the JCNP at junkanoocorporation@gmail.com. Any question, any query that you may have, I'm sure Natasha or Ivan will respond back to you in a very timely manner. So you can look at our social media platform as well as get into direct contact with the JCNP, and we will be more than pleased to let you know when and how and you can assist and get involved. But we want to get involved. Don't leave those ideas and those thoughts to yourself, or leave them on Facebook and chat rooms. Come to the JCNP, let your voice be heard, let your suggestions be heard. We are open book. We're always looking for ways to improve on how we function and more importantly, in how we execute these parades. We anticipate that this will be a huge year in the life of Junkanoo. We're mindful and we're knocking on wood that COVID behaves itself and gives us an opportunity to get back to Bayshore and do some semblance of what we used to do. But it's an exciting time for the Junkanoo community. And we're just ready to rock and roll.
Beautiful. And so, Dion, before we get into what is happening and what is the latest, because there have been some major announcements in recent days, just between us fellas, tell us how you how have you found? I want to get your personal perspective on being the chairman, because you were a group rep before you were voted in as the chairman, right?
That's correct.
So you have the perspective of seeing the JCNP firstly from outside, then elected as a rep, and then now you are the chairman. Tell me what you have found to be, how to put this. Let's start with it like this. What has been your greatest surprise on becoming chairman? What did you learn that you didn't know before that came? Or what was the greatest surprise to you when you became chairman and started operating as chairman?
Oh, so for me, Arlene, the greatest surprise that I attained in the role of chairman is just an appreciation of the examples of democracy that the JCNP is truly is all about. prior to getting involved in the JCMP, as many Junkanoo's experience, I always felt that the JCMP was this gray cloud, this dark room that ideas go to die, and who makes these decisions, and this, you know what I mean?
A boys' club.
Yeah, this boys club, and so I joined. I joined with in that band that I was sick and tired of not knowing this and knowing that, and when I came to the JCMP, that all changed. Because I see that the JCMP is truly a democratic form. No decision is made in Junkanoo without the consensus or majority rule of those groups. And so I got appreciation to understand that these groups are the ones who are really the shot callers and make the determination for what happens on these parades in regards to Junkanoo. When I became chairman, I think one thing that struck me is that the lack of communication that stems from that entity, the JCNP, and that forum that trickles down to the wider community. And so I see we have we have an opportunity there, and that's something that I know Darren Farrington is working on aggressively. Is how do we transport those information, that knowledge from the JCNP and that circle of JCNP reps to the community and to the groups. And so we're coming up with innovative ways using social media and so forth on that we can pass that information along. But I did not have an appreciation of just how much goes into being the chairman of the JCNP. And so you have any manner of meetings with any manner of persons throughout the weeks and months. I tell people I probably average in relation to Junkanoo something about 2 to 3 meetings per week, and
at least
and about 15 conversations telephone wise in relation to Junkanoo, and that could be speaking with corporate Bahamas, that could be speaking with our government partners, speaking with community members, and so there's just a lot, and I have such a great appreciation for those who came before me, Les Johnson, Arthur, Silbert, and people don't understand how much work and time and dedication goes into how many nights you're away from your family, and this is all volunteerism. We don't make no gang of money. We don't make no money. It's just for the love of Junkanoo. And so I've gained appreciation for that. My wife also, she don't know how you, Ali, as a spouse of a former chairman, put up with Silbert for all those years. and she also says she ain't Ali and Jack. Cut this one off. Cut this one off.
Don't get mixed up, Bala. Don't get mixed up. She ain't me. She ain't putting up with that nonsense.
Yeah.
That's cute.
You say what? She said she wasn't born into this, she inherited this. she got married into this. And so, it's just an appreciation of the sacrifice that all of these men and women do. And I want Junkanoos and persons in the community to understand and appreciate that this is not done for any monetary reason. We do this all for the love of culture and the love of Junkanoo.
Absolutely, beautifully. That's beautifully put the way you said it. I guess my next question is, you alluded to this. How do we get group reps to understand that a part of their responsibility is to carry the information back to their groups? That seems to be an ongoing issue. And as you say, DF is working to mitigate that. He is working to put things out in the public sphere so that everybody knows. But surely the representatives sitting around that table have a responsibility to report back to their groups. And I would think that the way they do it is up to the group. The group may decide or put the structure in place. Okay, you report to the chairman, and the chairman will get our secretary to send the information out. There has to be a structure there that allows this information to filter down from within the group, separate and apart from what you all will do, generally speaking, in the public eye.
Yeah, I think Arlene, you hit the nail right on the head. So it is going to take reform that comes directly from the belly of the groups. Groups got to organize themselves where they create that those lines of communication, those protocols. For those group reps, and you hit the nail right on the head. When I was a group rep, I know something that we incorporated is that we had group reps. Every group of for example, the A category group, you can have as much as five group reps because people have time and other stuff in life, so you got to make sure that your group is well represented. But we would have group reps that attend those sessions, those meetings, and then we would have a bi-weekly session with our steering committee or our executive committee back in the group. And during those executive committee meetings with the group and the group reps, all of the relevant information would be shared. And so we would present to the groups, okay, on this date, this was presented. The beautiful thing about the JCMP and has come back to our structure and our order is that every single minute of sorry every single meeting that occurs is minuted. And so the JCMP Secretariat always produce minutes for those sessions so you can read and follow up and you can present to the community or to whoever you need the community what was discussed, who discussed what, who recommended what, if any polls were taken, the results of those polls. And so we document every single thing. And so we used to go back and we used to present those minutes that, hey, on this date, during this session, this was the topic of discussions. Groups will be polled in 2 weeks on these following items. Should we take the wheels, as Darren F like to suggest, off the costumes? So we got a consensus back from the group, and on the group end, it is now for the group now to organize themselves and to call meetings, general meetings with their body. They say, hey guys, this is something that's coming up. We want to get your opinion. So as an organization or a group, we could see how we feel about such change or our recommendations, and then it comes back to the JCNP. So in essence, Arlene, that's what needs to happen. A proper communication channel has to be formed within those groups to be executed. But one of the bad habits, I think, that Junkanoo and all of our secrecy is that we don't like to share information. There's always secrecy in a crowd of secrecy that shrouds around Junkanoo, whether it is we're speaking about finances or whatever the situation may be. Naturally, that we kind of hold information to only those quote unquote chosen few who are persons who we feel should know that information. But I think in this day and age, what needs to change, we have an open book. We are a massive community with many different opinions. And so the more ideas and the more opinions you can get, I think will make it easier on the leadership. And so the leadership structures of these groups needs to change. And it has to change from the singular or the small group of decision makers to ensure that you have a more larger cross section of input in your organization. I think that is the direction that that groups are moving towards. One family is very big, and that for some form of structure, and the roots is also very big in that form of structure. They meet and they meet with the wider group and they do those things. So I think more and more groups moving in that direction would only pay benefits to that. And then for as a Junkanoo, look, this is your community, this is your craft, your culture. You want this, come and be heard. Like I said, you do not have to be a quote unquote group rep, but as a Junkanoo, as a Bahamian citizen, you can come and be a part of the JCMP. We are truly an open tent. You can come and represent that, you speak for yourself or your group. But we just want you to come out there and, like I said, go on our social media. You can find out when those meetings are. We like to make sure coordinate so you don't have a bunch of meetings to go to, but the rules and parades may occur on each and every Monday beginning at 6:45 p.m. So you can come right there. We have soft drinks available, water, soda, so your voice don't get dry.
And vehicles without an accessible parking
so come
permit
on board.
use a parking space designated for persons with disabilities, even for just a minute. That's 60 seconds too long. The abuse of accessible parking spaces is a daily frustration for persons with disabilities. It is inconsiderate, insensitive, and hinders persons with disabilities from effectively conducting business and actively participating in community life. Never park in a space reserved for people with disabilities unless you have a permit to do so. It is the right and respectful thing to do. This message is brought to you by the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities, a unit in the Ministry of Social Services and community development. For more information, visit www.disabilitiescommissionbahamas.org.
The Princess Margaret Hospital Blood Bank is in urgent need of blood donations of all types. Blood bank hours of operation are as follows. Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. The last donor will be accepted at 4:30 p.m. On Sundays, the blood bank is closed. Identification needed for donation include your NIB card or driver's license. Do not attempt to donate if you are sick or experiencing respiratory symptoms. Do not come to the blood bank in large groups, as we will be accommodating 3 persons at a time. For more information on how you can become a blood donor or instructions on what to do before coming to donate blood, please contact the blood bank at 502-7822.
Filed under sea for conch shell. Traditional Junkanoo instruments, drum, cowbell, whistle, and sometimes we forget the conch shell, the first horn of Junkanoo. Our enslaved ancestors renewed their spirit by recreating their festivals from Mother Africa in the 3-day holidays at Christmas each year, making their drums, substituting the bell from the cow for their traditional bells and shakers. And some innovative person cuts the tip off a conch shell, and there was the first horn of Junkanoo. Bahamians have always been resourceful and inventive people, making medicine from the bush, making plates from sea grape leaves, and making horns from a conch shell. So remember, you come from a creative people, and it is in you. Let's look around and continue to apply our creativity to our environment as our ancestors always did. Our Junkanoo, using our creative spirit.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Junkanoo 242, the whistle blow. We are lined up and now it's time for our first lap. And this morning we are catching up with the JCNP. We want to find out what is happening. My goodness, I was minding my own business, watching TV the other day. Big news, big excitement. And so we are delighted to have as our very special guest, Dion Miller, the chairman of the JCNP. And if you would wish to join us, if you have any questions for him, if you are in New Providence, 325-5403, 325-5404, 325-5405, and in our family of islands, 1-242-300-8255. And so, Dion, let's, at the moment we are being told that the Nassau number for this morning is 325-5405. Thank you so much. So use the 5. Thank you so much. And so, Chairman, now we can hold the big news until later discussing that. But let's start this segment discussing what is going to happen this campaign. We are in the throes, it would appear, of another COVID resurgence, which I am sure is causing anxiety for many people, not just the medical community. It is of concern to all of us. I have a very dear friend who is now suffering from COVID, and I certainly wish her well. She didn't give me no message to give nobody, so I don't know. I'm not at liberty to call the name, but everybody who is suffering now, and it's bad, we certainly wish them well. But if all things are equal, okay, tell us what we can expect this upcoming Junkanoo season.
Yeah, so God willing, and again, all thoughts and prayers with that. And just want to remind all of Junkanoos and the Bahamas are like that, you know, we're not out of the COVID bubble or the COVID cycle. And so you still have to pay attention and keep yourself and your family safe by following the protocols. Wear your mask, wash your hands. You can't let our guard down. I think we've we kind of dropped our guard a bit over the previous month. So we have to be mindful that COVID is here with us. It will be here with us for the immediate future, and so we can't let our guard down. So keep safe, keep protecting yourself. God willing, Arlene, we hope that this is just a some similar to like the flu season, and with the uptakes in the numbers, and that eventually it goes down and there's some sort of containment. As I stated, the JCNP Junkanoo calendar year has begun in April. A few weeks ago, we've had several sessions with the different groups here on the island, and in True Democracy Forum, groups were polled on the direction that they wanted the parades to occur this year. And so for the format of this year, we will be returning back to Bay Street in competitive style. There will be 2 modified competitive parades. And when I say modified, we will still look at rules and procedures and parade procedures for this year. Those have not been determined yet, but we have determined that there would be 2 competitive parades. In terms of the competition, what will contribute to your overall prize would be, of course, your banner, your best music, your choreograph, girls performance, overall group performance, overall group costume. And so everything else would be outside of that lane would be an individual prize. One of the big nuggets or the big debates or decisions that we had to make as a community is in regards to the step down and the lead costume categories, which is perhaps next to banner your biggest financial burden as it relates to putting on these parades from the group perspective. As you know, one of those pieces could be as much as $30,000. And still with a lot of uncertainty in regards to the funding and financing of the parades, a decision was made that those categories will not be mandatory. They will be optional. So we didn't want to disenfranchise those who may could find private funding on their own, or a group who may could find funding to produce those things. And so that will be an option. There will be optional categories this year, meaning that there will be a competition aspect of those 2 categories, but they will not count towards your overall presentation, and that they will not be mandatory towards your eligibility. So if you do not have a lead, you do not have your step down, you will not be disqualified from those parades. So groups will be given that leeway to make better, good, sound financial decisions that's best for their organizations. So those formats are being finalized. Parades right now is being restarted, and they are also trying to determine what we do in terms of the aftermath of those parades involving the IRC and all of those stuff. So I know those discussions are happening there. After parades and settled all of the platform for this year, what we will look like in terms of the format, rules will then kick in, which is being prepared by Mr. Rory Sanders, and where the rules be modified to meet or fit what is agreed upon in terms of the parade. I don't anticipate that we will go into many new materials and all of that different stuff that we have to stand firm and make sure the traditional norms of Junkanoo is held in place and elevated, mainly the crepe paper as the main material of the parades. And so we will certainly make sure that is the case, and that, hey, we encourage persons to use as much indigenous materials as possible. The bush, the newspaper, so you can come back into incorporating those kind of things. But as of new materials, I don't think there'll be much of discussion or much play in that regards. And so the year has begun. As I stated, the parades and the rules committee meet every single Monday. We have a deadline by the end of June. All of these items on the format and all of the trinkets about the parades, rules, etc., will be finalized, and they will be made public. So if you want to be a part of that, you want your voice to be heard, you want to have suggestions and input, please come out to those meetings. Please send JCNP email communications as recommendations. They will be read into the record, and we want to get your input in. But we are looking to relaunch this thing in a big way. Like I said, we're hopeful and mindful that COVID behaves itself, and it gives us this opportunity. It's been a very rough 2 years for us as a community, as it's been for us all, as society and as a global community. But we would like to get back to some semblance of normalcy and partaking in our culture. And so this year plans may change. I anticipate that we may come to resolution on particular items, but they may have to be amended due to whatever happening in regards to COVID and whatever's going on in the environment. And so things will be fluent this year. But those workers start, and again, I can't say that it's enough. We just encourage you all in Junkanoo community to come out, and let your voices be heard and assist us, because we attempted to relaunch, reimagine Junkanoo and Junkanoo here, and certainly in New Providence and what we do. And so we encourage all persons to come out and assist us.
Excellent. Now, you have said a mouthful. Let's break it down. Let's take it one step at a time. So, I believe I missed the first part. Did you say anything before you talked about the lead pieces and the step downs?
Absolutely. So I indicated that.
What was the first point?
Yeah. So the first point is that groups have elected to return to a competitive form for both the Boxing Day and the New Year's Day Parade. So there will be a modified competition for both Boxing Day and the New Year's Day parades. Okay, so that structure, basically with some tweaks, will stay in place. So absolutely, there will be a competition Boxing Day. There will be a competition New Year's. We will be in our divisions. In the A division and the B division. So that structure stays in place. Correct. Okay, now, the next thing you said was about the lead pieces and the step downs? Correct. And so they will be made optional. Yes. In the past, they were mandatory. So I think for the A category group, there was a mandatory eligibility requirement that you bring 1 lead and 3 step down pieces. That mandatory eligibility requirement will be relaxed or lifted for this year, and it will be made optional due to the fact that those are the most expensive items that you need to prepare, and the most time sensitive thing. So groups will be given option this year to not necessarily have to involve in their parading those particular pieces. Okay. So they are now optional. Now, of course, let me throw this rock, because be the devil's advocate, because they are optional. But now when we come to the scoring, if I have the money to put 1 or more lead pieces out there and step downs, I am enhancing my overall presentation, even though technically they are not being judged within their category. You with me? So to me, the people who have the resources to tack these things onto their presentations, they still stand to benefit, even though we will not announce best lead piece, best step down. When I look at you coming down the road and you got 2 lead pieces and 3 step downs, and I over here with just dances, I'm just wondering how that will affect the whole thing. Yeah, so I didn't want to get into details, but a determination has not been made yet if those pieces will be included on the parade. And when I mean the parade, meaning the Boxing Day Parade. So what we are planning on is a costume festival dedicated directly for those pieces, and so that will be an off-site event prior to the Boxing Day New Year's Day Parade, where for years we've talked about festivals and a way to look at these costumes and to bring a different element to the parade. And so what we're proposing this year is that you have a costume festival that is dedicated directly to those crafts, and there will be an individual prize for those bodies in itself. So they won't necessarily be a part of the parade. We want this year to be a nice free-flowing parade, a nice dancing, jumping, celebratory type of event. And so a determination has not been made yet. Based on those points that you raised, if they will be allowed on the parade route, but they will have a dedicated festival or event for those practitioners, for those categories, so they can be highlighted during the traditional Christmas season. So here's my next question. Presently, the way the scoring system is set up, basically, costume is 50%, music is 25%,
performance is 20, and then 5 is something like relevance to theme or whatever it is. My question is, have you all given any consideration to changing that? Is costume in this climate, in these circumstances, still going to be worth 50% of your overall score since we're in a competition?
Yeah, because of the changes that will be made this year, Aline, all of those will have to be amended. And if memory serves me correct, I know that particular point is on the agenda for Monday evening.
Okay.
For the discussion to be. So those will have to be amended to reflect what we're doing this current year.
Good, excellent.
And let me just share with the public and with the community. These are just this particular year as we relaunch and we get back into it. So these are not permanent changes that we are that we will enact this year. Yeah. So this is just this. Being mindful that things are not changed yet in regards to COVID, in regards to finances, etc., etc. So these are just for this year, Junkanoo season 2022, 2023. So I don't want anyone to think that these will be absolutely permanent changes.
Yes.
My point exactly. So I just want to make that point very clear.
Excellent.
All right, folks, we're gonna run to our next break. When we get back, man, we got exciting news. We get into the big stuff. We got leashes, some big things when we come back. Don't go nowhere. You're tuning in to Junkanoo 242. We'll be right back.
Right back.
You saw Larry take the money off the teacher's desk.
Yes, Mom.
And you told the teacher.
No, Mom.
Why not?
Because Larry wouldn't want to be my friend no more.
Honey, Larry did something wrong and you need to tell an adult. You may feel bad, but it is important that you do the right thing. Nobody has to find out that you told.
Okay.
Small crimes lead to big crimes. If you see a crime, you can call Crime Stoppers. It's safe and easy, and nobody knows who you are. You'll speak directly to someone in Miami or Toronto, Canada. They never ask anything about you. So be brave and do the right thing. We all need to help. Stop the crime before it's our time.
Guess what, Mommy? I feel good because I told somebody about Larry and the teacher get our money back. So pick up the phone. No one will never call you a snitch.
Call Crime Stoppers Bahamas today at 328-8477 or from the Family Islands, 242-300-8477. It's safe, and the life you save may be your own.
This public service announcement was brought to you by Crime Stoppers in conjunction with the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
It's for men, about men, by men. It's informative. It's inspiring. It's here on AM 1540, Power 104.5 FM with yours truly, Sean Innes.
Saturday evenings will never be the same again. Seek to positively display the youth of our nation. This and every Saturday at 8 p.m. on 1540 AM, Power 104.5 FM, the national voice of the Bahamas.
It's in-depth, it's personal, and sometimes it's even hilarious. It's Behind the Artist, the show that features Bahamian artists and their music. Saturdays at 2 p.m. Behind the Artist with the one and only Hope Shelley-Ann. Saturdays at 2 p.m. on 1540 AM, Power 104.5 FM, the national voice of the Bahamas.
You're muted, Arlene.
Sorry about that. Examples of excellence. Originally, Lady Camille Barnett came to Nassau one summer to visit a university friend and immediately felt at home. She also fell in love with Junkanoo, and each year she returned to participate in the parades on Bay with Scrap. Eventually, Lady Barnett moved to the Bahamas to lecture at the College of the Bahamas, where she taught for decades. She has also devoted her life to the fight against AIDS and has been the president of the AIDS Foundation of the Bahamas since 2002. But her love for Junkanoo remains, and every year faithfully, she is watching the parades atop Scotiabank. Under her leadership, the AIDS Foundation introduced a Junkanoo pin as a fundraiser, fully embracing our unique cultural phenomenon of Junkanoo, which she has also passed on to her children, including a current senator. The distinguished Lady Camille Barnett, this week's inductee into the Junkanoo 242 Shack of Excellence.
Welcome back. You're tuning in to Junkanoo 242. Yeah, Alan, you sneaked that one in on me. Dying on my show plan. But congratulations.
Well, what I did not say is that today is Lady Barnett's birthday.
Oh, that is so fitting.
Wish her a happy birthday. So we thought it was very fitting to pay tribute to her on the 14th of May.
Yay. Well, we're tuned in to Junkanoo 242. Listen, we on the second lap. If you ain't checked the shack to see if the costume get wet, just listen to us on the radio right now. Big announcements coming up right now. Dion, you said, when we in the opening comments we talked about the JCNP, why it's so important. But one of the things that you brought up is that there is financial support. There is no financial support coming from the government in terms of how the JCNP operates and its immediate funding. So the question is how does the JCNP fund itself?
Good question. And so the JCNP, as I said, is a totally independent body. We are a business, a private corporation, and so the responsibility of funding falls upon ourselves, mainly the executive committee and that steering team. And so the JCNP, we go to corporate Bahamas seeking financial assistance from the different corporate partners and players that are surrounded, not just here in the Bahamas, but globally. And that is how we take care of ourselves. That's how we raise those funds. So we don't receive assistance of any kind from government. I think in our entire 13, 14 plus year of existence, the government has not contributed directly to the JCNP in terms of monetary, never in our history, in our existence. So we've always been on our own, and we're still here today. And I think that's something that those who came before me should be very, very proud of, is that we've been able to sustain by ourselves, governing ourselves, managing ourselves without any kind of governmental assistance on our own. So we should all be proud as Junkanoos of the job that we continue to do every year without fail. We every year put on parades successfully. Now we could argue about some minor procedures or a little setback here and there, but for the most part, we are very successful in doing what we do. And so I think as Junkanoo, we need to be proud and just pause a minute and celebrate ourselves and give ourselves a pat on the back that every year we've been able to do this. And it's not an easy feat. It's not an easy task. It's a very expensive task to put on these parades. There's much responsibility that we put on ourselves to have these parades. We need to raise almost $500,000 just in prize funds to pay these groups. And in our entire existence, one thing with Bahamians, we don't play with money. You have never heard in the Punch or some report that Junkanoos were never paid. And that's something I think we need to be very proud of, because we are transparent and we always do what we have to do in a business sense.
So Dion, you spoke about private partnership. Tell the public about a partnership that just came to light in the last week.
Yeah, so I'm very pleased to share with the Junkanoo community and with the Bahamas that on Monday, May 9th, the JCNP entered into a new 5-year, $3.1 million sponsorship agreement with the Alive and the affiliated group of companies. And so now Junkanoo will be branded by Alive. Junkanoo is alive, and it's something that we are very excited about, the prospects of our future. And so the agreement with Alive represents the single largest commitment in terms of private sponsorship that Junkanoo or the JCNP has ever attained outside of governmental assistance where they pay for the bleachers every year. So $3.1 million over the next 5 years is a massive amount of support for the Junkanoo community. And we're just getting started. We will soon announce a new agreement with one of our other sponsors, Collect, as well as Rubus. And so our goal over the next 5 years is to secure about $4 million in financial aid for the JCNP over the next 4 years. And so we're well on our way. I'd just like to take a minute, Arlene, Darren, to thank the executive team of the JCNP. It's been a long, rough 2 weeks, many meetings, many calls, a lot of prayer. Decisions like these are not easy, but everyone was transparent. Everyone was confidential. I did not have to worry about any leak or anything like that. We came in as men and women, and we were open-minded. We looked at all manner of different agreements and proposals, and we made the best decision that we felt for Junkanoo to take Junkanoo to the next level. So I want to thank them for all of those, all of the time and the long hours, and just to get this done.
So Dion, when you I could remember. Okay, help me here. I'm not sure I know how to say this properly. When you call it the single largest contribution to, you see, because why I'm asking is because we have sponsors, group sponsors, who put in thousands of dollars every year, and possibly some of them have donated over the years more than $3 million. Yeah. I just want to be very clear that we're not slighting anybody in terms of our wording.
Yeah, absolutely. So over the years, persons have contributed hundreds of thousands of dollars that total into millions of dollars in Junkanoo. When I say the single largest, this is the single largest one-time commitment to the Junkanoo Corporation. So that's what I refer to.
To the corporation one time.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Gotcha. Yeah. And yeah, so we keep everybody happy because so many people are invested in this, and we want to make sure everybody gets their due. So when that announcement was made that evening on ZNN, on Cable 12, the first question I got was, is any of that money going directly to the Junkanoo groups? That was the first WhatsApp question I got. So please explain to us how that money is going to be used.
So absolutely. So the JCNP is a true NGO. We're a non-profit organization. So every and all funds that we raise outside of our operational expense goes directly to the groups. The JCNP people don't realize that the JCNP contribute anywhere between $12,000 to $15,000 every year to those A groups, and about $7,000 to $10,000 every year towards the B groups as well. So any funds that we earn or we attain goes directly to the groups. We are non-profit. We're not in the business of making money, which we're kind of changing now, shifting our focus in a bit. But every dollar that we raise directly benefits the Junkanoo groups.
Excellent. That is important, and I'm sure people will appreciate that. I think the question, when I saw the question, I almost got the impression that they believed that they were questioning whether or not groups would get like a lump sum to help them to get to pay, but it doesn't work like that, eh?
Yeah, that doesn't necessarily work like a lump sum. Every year we provide, close to after August, we provide in form of seed funding to every single group. And I just stated those figures. And so every year, every group, the JCNP, because of our sponsorship agreements, we're able to put funds directly into the groups' coffers.
So it does happen.
It does go, it does happen. It goes directly to those groups.
Excellent. So now so let's be very clear. You all, the way you operate internally, you will set out a plan as to how you are. You have certain recurring expenses, such as getting the tickets rolling and that kind of thing. You need an office, and you got to pay rent, and you need paper and all of these things. And so you all prepare a budget that the JCNP members get to see and see how the money is broken down.
Like I said, Marlene, absolutely. JCNP, we're big time. We're organized. We're professional. And
this ain't no chopstick and liver. This is big time.
Listen to me. The JCNP is compiled of business professionals. Anyway, we have doctors, we have lawyers, we have accountants. We have everything. We are the makeup of our society, and so we are very transparent. At the conclusion of every year, we have an independent auditor that audits our financial books. Those are shared with not only our membership, but those are shared with corporate Bahamas. Those are shared with the government of Bahamas. And so people feel safe that when they're dealing with the JCNP, we're straight up, and the funds will get directly to the group. So we have operational expenses just as any other entity, though that are our sole discretion. In terms of office space and rental alone, that could come up to much as $40,000 right there. Not just office supplies, and all of this, mind you, are voluntary. The only thing we don't pay is salaries. We have great operational expenses, and like I said, every dollar that the JCNP gets, I'd say about 80%. 80 to 90 cents or every dollar goes directly to the groups and to benefit the groups. We put on these parades ourselves. Those judges you see on Bay Street, they are our responsibility. So we make sure they're compensated. We make sure they're trained. Every digital appliance or application that you see and we're using for those parades are at the expense of the JCNP, and we raise those funds to corporate Bahamas. We put on these parades. Junkanoo was you put on these parades. We go and get funded from corporate Bahamas, who we are so grateful to be able to do what we do. But this is our show. We manage these parades with very little assistance from the government. The government covers the bleacher costs for us, and everything else outside of that, Jack, is our responsibility. And we make it happen. And like I said, something we need to be proud of. Over 14, 15 years, we have never seen in any article in the Punch or anything that the Junkanoo Corporation has been in any mix-up with any funds. And we've got four chairmen. I'm the fourth chairman, and we can all walk around holding our head up high without shame. So that's something I'm very proud of. Very proud of.
Now, I struggled to get on Facebook this morning, and so I am just catching up with, and there are so many wonderful questions. Let me ask you this one that Dale asked. Has there been any discussion about bleacher seating and or standing room viewing being amended, ticket pricing, etc., to ensure that as many want to attend?
Those discussion has begun. In terms of ticket pricing is tricky. And I say this in order for those to be amendments that will have to come with advisement of the Cabinet of the Bahamas. We have been trying for years to get an increase prior to COVID, of those tickets, because the tickets and the sale of tickets on Dale is how we pay groups. And so we have been trying a way to increase those price packages for the groups. And the only way to do that is to increase the ticket price. And unfortunately, Cabinet has just not, over the past 10 plus years of increasing, of just getting us back to what our ticket structure used to be. So not so much as an increase, but just to get back to where we were prior to the Great Recession.
Gotcha.
In that regards. In terms of seating, yes, we're looking at seating. As a corporation, we're working with the government to ensure that we have relevant protocols. Those discussion always fluctuates because of what is happening in terms of COVID. So we went through a period over this past several months where it looks like everything was dying off. And so a lot of those protocols were being pulled back. But now we're seeing a flare come back in. And so we may have to go back to that, to where we require persons that you have to be masked. Certainly, if you purchase a ticket, you'll have to go and present a negative antigen test. One of the headaches of us in terms of the standing area is that how do we police that? How do we ensure, mainly that Shirley Street corridor, how do we ensure that persons are safe there? And so those things are up for discussion, Dale. And as we move through the upcoming weeks and we finalize, and as I state, we may come to an agreement, and then based on what's happening in the climate in terms of COVID, they may be amended. And so that is something that is currently in fluctuating, but those discussions has begun.
Good. Forgive me for going back, because like I said, I'm just catching up on the comments on Facebook. There's still a little bit of confusion about the lead pieces and the step downs. What I heard you say is that they will be permitted on the parade, but they will not be judged as separate categories, and that you all are considering a separate event where they can also be put on display at another time. Is that what you said?
Yeah, absolutely. So we want to incorporate a different festival, different experiences. So what we're anticipating that there will be a costume festival that will be held prior to the Boxing Day and New Year's Day parades. That will be solely for the display and judging of those step down and those lead costume pieces. So they will, again, as I stated, they will be individual prizes. They will not be a part of your a group overall point structure. And so as we made it optional this year, it won't be fair for a group who does those and another group, because of financial constraints or whatever their determination may be, not have them, and the scores be
it defeats
not
the whole purpose.
My point
it defeats
exactly.
The whole purpose.
Now, a determination has not yet been made as to whether we will also allow them to come on the parade route, because it may enhance the overall group costume presentation. So you see someone who have them and someone who don't have them, and it may give added beautification to our parade. So right. My point. So that aspect of it is not being discussed yet, but we will be having a festival for those places, those two categories, and so you can come and walk right up to those and get a great appreciation for those, and that will be judged and the quote unquote actual parade.
Okay. Okay, excellent. Well, this is a perfect time for us to go to our final break. And when we come back, ladies and gentlemen, we will be wrapping up. We're talking to Dion Miller, the chairman of the JCNP. We're getting the update, and boy, what an update it is. And so please stay with us. We'll be right back.
When vehicles without an accessible parking permit use a parking space designated for persons with disabilities, even for just a minute, that's 60 seconds too long. The abuse of accessible parking spaces is a daily frustration for persons with disabilities. It is inconsiderate, insensitive, and hinders persons with disabilities from effectively conducting business and actively participating in community life. Never park in a space reserved for people with disabilities unless you have a permit to do so. It is the right and respectful thing to do. This message is brought to you by the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities, a unit in the Ministry of Social Services and Community Development. For more information, visit www.disabilitiescommissionbahamas.org.
Saturday evenings will never be the same again. A show for young people, made by young people. The Youth Perspective, where we seek to positively display the youth of our nation. This and every Saturday at 8 p.m. on 1540 a.m. Power 104.5 FM, the national voice of the Bahamas.
And now for news off the shock wall. Happy birthday greetings to Kendall Major and to everyone else who is celebrating their birthdays in the upcoming week. We wish you a happy and a blessed new year. I want to send congratulatory remarks out to everybody that's going to be graduating if this upcoming week, even in the upcoming week, special, congratulations to my nephew, Anthony Evans. Anton Evans, he's going to be giving the commencement speech in University of Illinois. My name better be in that speech, boy. My name better be in that speech for the record. All right? Condolences to the families of all who are grieving the loss of loved ones at this time. And as a part of the People's Rush and the Independent Junkanoo Achievement Awards presentation in Rawson Square on July 11th, the Junkanoo Development Association will include an in memoriam tribute to those Junkanoos who have passed since the last formal parade on January 1st, 2020 and now. Junkanoo photographs are asked to please be Junkanoo groups are asked to please submit the names and the photograph of the dearly departed since January 1st, 2020 to the JCNP for inclusion. Deadline for submissions is Tuesday, May 31st. May they rest in peace and their memory be a blessing. Arlene, guess what? It is the countdown. I was telling this guy we getting the Bay, the Bastiani, and show up today. But guess what? It is Saturday, May 14th. We are 32 hopeful weeks away from Bay.
Oh, yes. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Junkanoo 242. We are in the closing segments of our show. We're talking to Dion Miller, chairman of the JCNP. We're getting an update on what is going on with them. And we have a caller on the line. Let's go straight to the phone lines. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Kazi Fernanda. Good morning, Bahamas. Good morning, everybody.
Morning, Kazi.
For the chairman, I have a question in terms of that second Independence Parade. Correct me if I'm. Let me just run over. It was Barabbas, Kenny, Merrick, and Gay. You said right?
That's what I think I had. Yeah.
Yes.
I think that flamingo was done by Jolly.
By Tom. Is it? What's his first name?
I really don't know, but he was a police.
Okay, so you say the flamingo was done by Jolly?
Yeah, all the other ones was correct.
Okay, excellent. Thank you so much, and we will certainly look that up. I believe I know. I think his name is Franklin Jolliet, but we'll confirm that. And thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Got to get these facts right. Oh man, we have so many junkanographers around here who got
get the costume right.
Oh man, get your facts straight. Don't come around here playing.
That's right. Junkanoo is life.
Yeah. Oh man, and we have some walking encyclopedias when it comes to Junkanoo, and we are very grateful because our children need to know, his children need to know. And so we are very, very grateful. Thank you so much, Uncle Cos. And so Dion, yes. And so back to the matter at hand. And so we sorted out the matter of the lead pieces and the step downs. And as you said, you all are still in discussion regarding all of these things. And so we will be hearing from you all in due course.
Absolutely. And like I said, not just to stick on the costume, but there are a number of things that we are amending. We will not go back to Beishu with that same IRC structure where we come off these parades and we have to do that. That will not happen. A special committee has been appointed to deal directly with that. These things will be adjudicated live on the parade to George Street or to Elizabeth Avenue. And so after you'll go through the process. So when those calls are called, they are called. And we are really working hard on to advance Junkanoo. And so a number of changes will be made to how we do things and did things in the past. And so just stay tuned. I just wish that you grant me 1 minute. I'd like to just say thank you to BTC, the Bahamas Telecommunication Company, who have been our sponsor for over 10 years, the past 10 years. BTC was the first major corporate sponsor of the JCNP and Junkanoo. And so we want to tell them thank you for all their years of investment and partnership with the JCNP. They took us from infancy to where we are now. And they gave the JCNP and the Junkanoo community a lot of credibility and ability to really be on our own outside of governmental assistance. So I want to thank that whole team. Yes, grateful. The terms of our agreement came up to end January earlier this year. And the JCNP and Junkanoo's moved in a different direction, but we're grateful. I'd also like to, Arlene, put you on notice in that in the next upcoming weeks, I will be back to speak more clearly and more specifically to that partnership with life, because that is an absolute game.
The return of the kid. This was going to be my question. When are you able to share the details?
Yeah. So in another week, we're still going through some final legal details. So in another week or so, I'll be able to share. But this is an absolute game changer for Junkanoo. It's not just a straight up sponsorship. We will now have the ability to take Junkanoo international. We're talking about broadcasting. We're talking about now intellectual properties. And so now we're talking about plenty lawyer talk. We'll have to be involved now, because Junkanoo is broad, going broad. We're going international. We're talking about viewership. We're talking about revenue sharing. We're talking about pay-per-view. Any gambit of stuff that is included in those in that agreement. And so I can't speak to the details of that yet. But this is something I would say. This is something that Junkanoo have been calling for decades. How do we transport Junkanoo in terms of viewership to the world? And
this is exciting.
With this agreement, we believe that we have put the Junkanoo in a very, very positive position to not only just spread the word, but come off those parades with ability to earn revenue based on our intellectual property and what we do here on Bay Street. So very exciting. I said details are forthcoming.
Stay tuned.
So the JCNP and Alive reps will be back to 242 to share the news and to speak to those agreements and what potentially will be coming up. You can anticipate.
Beautiful.
You can anticipate. I'll give you one tablet. You can participate and anticipate. A 24/7 Junkanoo JCNP 242 channel on Cable Bahamas.
Man, stop it, man.
So you can stay tuned.
No, man. No.
Stay tuned.
Oh boy, we gotta go to the hairdresser. Oh, Dion, it sounds so exciting. That is absolutely wonderful. Now our time is running out. We got 4 minutes. I want to harken back very quickly. You may have to address this when you come back. You talked about the decisions made for this year, not necessarily holding in the future.
Right.
So the JCNP has the power to shape, mold, direct the future of the parade and make decisions every year as to what is allowed and what is not allowed. Do you have in the Constitution, they're called entrenched provisions that are harder to change than regular provisions because we want to protect the cultural integrity of the parade? Certain things you mentioned, the crepe paper. Do you all have entrenched provisions where there are certain things you ain't gonna touch or you ain't gonna throw out the door or do away with?
Absolutely, Arlene. Okay. So we have certain protections and things that are entrenched and that I personally will guard with all of my being. Okay. And that is the use of what makes us unique. And that is the crepe paper and the materials. And so there won't, like I said, not under my watch, Jack, will there be any big discussion with new material and stuff. Yeah. Get your brush, get your glue, get your paper, use flour and water, whatever you got to use. It's been 2 years.
Get to the shack.
Get back to the shack.
Amen. Amen. Dion, this has been absolutely enlightening and informing. And we thank you so much for being here this morning. Do you have anything that you would like to leave us with as we prepare to sign off?
No, I just want to once again share with the Junkanoo community to be safe being mindful. This COVID thing is still with us. I know we've let our guard down. Wear your mask. You sanitize after you touch all sorts of materials. But just to stay tuned. I think that this is an exciting time for us as a community. We have a lot of investment, a lot of potential things that are going to be coming for us, things that we've all wanted for Junkanoo, for the craft for many years. This year is to reimagine and to relaunch this thing. I want everyone to keep an open mind. I want everyone to come out and let your voices be heard. Dale Chalo, you always have fascinating questions and points, but you always keep them on Facebook, and I can call you out. Come to the JCNP and bring your ideas and your suggestions to the floor, and so we can make things. So I'm just excited and I'm proud to be here. I'm here for another 3 years. I want to thank the Junkanoo leaders in the different groups. I think about 17 different groups were able to support me this time around. Which was massive, and so I just want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart. And I'm here to serve and to do as best as I can do. You may not get everything you want. Yes, I am rowdy. Yes, I'm very intentional. But you can get effort from me and transparency and honesty from me. And so I'm just thankful on my team. Let's get to work.
Amen. Excellent. DF, last words.
Junkanoo is alive.
Junkanoo is alive. And so, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of our show for this morning. It has been a wonderful exchange. We have all heard, at least I know I heard a lot that I didn't know before. And so we will be getting periodic updates from the JCNP as we move down through the year. And so we thank you so much for being in the E-Shack with us this morning. This is such a privilege that all of us can come together and talk and discuss our passion and make sure that it goes in the direction in which we think it should go for the good of our country. And so until next week, we thank you so much for being here. This is Junkanoo 242. It's all about you wherever you are in the 242 and abroad. And until next week now, stay safe, please. Let's damp down this latest wave. Let's practice all of our safety protocols and make sure, apart from that, that you let everything that we all do prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that we are all proud to be Bahamian. We'll see you next week.